Okay, for today we will continue with discussion for the exercise 3.3, question number 10D. Okay, firstly we write the matrix D. Okay, next we try to find the determinant of A. So use the first row. So 1 times its minor, which is 1051, then minus 2, this element, then times its minor, which is minus 1021. And then we use the formula AD minus BC. So AD minus BC, 1 minus 0, then minus 2 times also AD minus BC, minus 1 minus 0. So it is equal to 1 plus 2. So the determinant of D is 3. Okay, next we start by writing the augmented matrix. On the left hand side is matrix D. Next we draw a vertical line, and then on the right hand side is the matrix I, the identity matrix. Okay, the first step is to modify the first column. We modify into 1, 0, 0. The first is already 1, so we try to modify this minus 1 and 2 into 0. Okay, we draw an arrow. Then the formula for the new row 2 will be R2 plus R1. Why R2 plus R1? It's because we want to convert this item into 0. So minus 1 plus 1 is 0. So how do we get this 3? 3 is from R2 plus R1. 1 plus 2. Okay, next. How do we get the value of 1? It is from R2 plus R1. R2 plus R1. 0 plus 1. Okay, next we want to modify the value, this element of 2 into 0. So the formula will be, the new R3 will be R3 minus 2R1. So 2 minus 2 times 1 is 2 minus 2, which is 0. So how do we get this 1? 1 is from R3 minus 2R1. R3 is 5. Then minus 2 times R1. R1 is 4. So 5 minus 2 times 2 is 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, how do we get this negative 2? From R3 minus 2R1. R3 minus 2R1. So R3 is 0. We need to refer to the previous augmented matrix. 0, R3 0 minus 2R1. So minus 2R1 is negative 2. Okay, next we want to modify the second column into 0, 1, 0. So we start with the value of 3. Convert 3 into 1. Because we want to modify the column 2 into 0, 1, 0. So write an arrow, draw an arrow, and then write the formula. So the formula will be, because we want to convert 3 into 1, so 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 2 times 1. So the formula will be R2 minus 2 R3. So 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So how do we get this negative 2? Negative 2, we use the formula R2 minus 2 R3. So R2 minus 2 R3 will be R2 is 0, then minus 2 R3, minus 2 times 1, get negative 2. Then how do we get this 5? R2 is 1, minus 2 R3. R2 minus 2 R3 will be 1 minus 2 times negative 2. So 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, next we want to, yes? R2 minus R1. If we use R2 minus R1, 3 minus 2, if 3 minus 2, then it will affect the first value, because if R2 minus R1, of course this one will be 1, but for this element, it will be R2 minus R1, 0 minus 1 will be negative 1. So this part will change to negative 1, because we need to make sure that we do not alter the column 1. Okay, so is it okay? Okay, so we need to, whenever we proceed, we have to make sure that the previous column will not be changing. Like what you are suggesting just now, we will change the column 1. Okay, so we continue. Okay, we want to convert the column 2 into 0, 0, 1, 0. So we need to settle this one, 2, convert into 0. So we'll be using the row 2. So 2 minus 2, 0. So the formula will be R1 minus 2 times R2. So 2 minus 2, 0. So let's see what will happen. So this one will become 0. How do we get 4? 4 is from R1 minus 2 times R2. So 0 minus 2 times negative 2 will be positive 4. Okay, next, how do we get this negative 9? Okay, R1 is 1, then minus 2 times R2. So minus 2 times 5 is minus 10. So 1 minus 10 is negative 9. Then how do we get this negative 2? Negative 2 is from R1 minus 2 times 1. So 0 minus 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then we get 4 by R1 minus 2 times R2. So 0 minus 2 times negative 2. So 0 plus 4. Okay. Okay, next we want to convert this value of 1 into 0. Remember that we want to convert the column 2 into 0, 1, 0. So this will be very straightforward. 1 minus 1. So row 3 minus row 2. Okay, so row 3 minus row 2. How do we get this 3? Row 3 minus row 2. So 1 minus negative 2. Okay, next, how do we get this negative 7? Okay, refer to the formula R3 minus R2. R3 minus R2. So minus 2 minus 5, negative 7. Negative 1. How do we get this negative 1? R3 minus R2. R3 minus R2. So 0 minus 1, 1. And 3 from, we get from R3 minus R2, 1 minus negative 2, which is 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3. Okay, next. Okay, next, the last one. We have settled with column 1 and column 2. The column 3, we want to convert into 0, 0, 1. So we start with the third element in the last row, number 3, the value of 3. We need to convert into 1. Convert into 1. So this one is very straightforward. We just divide R3 by 3. Or we can also write as R3 times 1 over 3. Okay. So automatically 3 will become 1 because 3 times 1 over 3. Okay, next. All the 3 elements on the right hand side will be divided by 3. So minus 7 over 3, minus 1 over 3, and 3 over 3 is 1. Okay, this will be the last step. Okay, the last step. We want to convert, let's say we continue with this value of negative 2. We want to convert into 0. Okay, to convert into 0, the calculation should be minus 2 plus 2. Okay. So we'll be using this value of 1, 1 from the R3. So the formula will be R2, with R2 plus 2 times R3. R3 is 1. Okay, the formula will be, the new R2 will be equal to R2 plus 2R3, based on this one. Okay, the left hand side will be standard. Left hand side will be 0, 1, 0. Left hand side. But for the right hand side, we need to discuss in detail the calculation. So R2 minus R2 plus 2R3. R2 is 5. R3 is minus 7 over 3. So this will become 5 minus 14 over 3. Then we simplify, we get 1 over 3. Then for this one, for this element, R2 plus 2R3. R3 is minus 1 over 3. So we simplify, we get 1 over 3. Then for the last one, minus 2 R2 plus 2R3, 0. Okay. So we settle the second row. Then for the last one, okay, for the last column, for the first row, okay, for the first row, the value is 4. We want to convert into 0. So the calculation should be 4 minus 4. So we'll be using this this value from the last row, 1. In other words, we'll be using R3. So the formula will be R1 minus 4 times R3. So 4 minus 4, 0. So we write the formula. For your information, for any step, for any step that has two formula like this one, we write the first formula above the arrow, Then write the second formula below the arrow. Okay. Okay, now we continue with the calculation for R1. Okay, R1 is negative 9. For this element, R1 is negative 9. R3 is minus 7 over 3. Then we simplify. Minus 4 times minus 7 is 28. Then we simplify, we get 1 over 3. Okay, next. For this element, R1 is minus 2. R3 is minus 1 over 3. So we use the same formula. Simplify, we get minus 2 over 3. Then for this element, R1 is 4. R3 is 1. So 4 minus 4, 0. Okay, so we complete the augmented matrix. So now the left hand side is I. So automatically the right hand side will be the inverse of D. Oh, sorry, I need to modify this one. This one should be D, inverse of D. Okay, so just copy this the right hand side. We need to remember that our initially we get the determinant is equal to 3. So in other words, we can factorize by 1 over 3 because the inverse of a matrix is equal to 1 over determinant. Our determinant is 3. Okay, so the 9 element in the inverse of D is 1, minus 2, 0, 1, 1, 0, minus 7, minus 1, and finally 1. Okay.